What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? In this video, we're going to be breaking down New York life insurance as an agency and some questions and things that you need to know prior to making the jump and joining them, right? Whenever you're getting into the insurance business, you need to know that the agency that you're joining is going to be a good fit for you so that you can set yourself up for the highest chance of success starting out. My name is Tim Shooker. I run the Life Insurance Sales channel, and let's dive right into this, starting with the commission level. Right? So whenever you're joining an agency, the way that you get paid is pretty important. We want to know what is your starting commission level at New York Life, right? So when you first start off, what is your commission level going to be, right? So figure that out. And these are all questions that you're going to want to ask your upline or your trainer, right? The person recruiting you. Now, the next thing that you want to ask is how do you actually get that commission level raised? So what steps do you need to take in order to raise your commission level and advance within the company, right? And then also figuring out what is the max commission that you can possibly get with New York Life. And whenever you get these things, you're going to want to compare them to other agencies, other IMOs out there to really see like, hey, is this going to be a good fit or is there a better fit somewhere else, right? Ultimately, there's a lot of options to choose from. And New York Life is just one of those options. There's plenty of other options. I've done plenty of reviews on this channel of a lot of these options. And so you want to compare what you can get with New York Life versus what you can get somewhere else and really shop that around. So yeah, so what is the commission? What is the commission per product, right? So maybe you sell term policy versus, like a universal life policy or a whole life policy. What are those commissions per product that you sell? The next thing is whenever you're with New York Life, you are going to be a captive agent. So the thing, like basically what a captive agent is there's two different types of agents. You have captive agents and you have brokers. So think of a captive agent like a Jake from State Farm, right? So Jake from State Farm only represents State Farm, so he can only sell State Farm products. So if one of his clients may qualify for something better somewhere else, Jake is not going to tell them that, and he's not going to be able to help them with that because he only sells State Farm. Whereas a broker, they represent a bunch of different insurance companies. They work for the client as opposed to the insurance company. So the thing is, when you're at New York Life, you are going to be a captive agent. So you work for New York Life. You can only offer New York Life, and you can't offer other options to your clients. So the downside of that is you're not always going to be able to put your client in the best spot, unfortunately, because you simply just don't have access to those products, right? So that's one piece. And then also the other piece is your business is going to be easier to replace. So if somebody else comes behind you and they can offer your client something better than you can, usually your client is going to switch. So you'll end up with more chargebacks. The advantage of being captive and only having one company is you don't have to learn a bunch of different carriers. So you only have to learn New York Life. You only have to learn one application. So it's a lot easier to get started, but there are definitely some disadvantages with being an agent versus a broker. New York Life, their target market, so typically what they go after is more white collar people, right? So they're going after like doctors and surgeons, architects, business owners, people like that. And that can be good for some people. Some people, it's a little bit more, it's more difficult for you to get in front of those prospects, right? They're maybe a little busier, they're maybe more skeptical. But the good thing is they're still working and they have money, right? Another thing that New York Life does is they kind of push people to sell to their warm market. So I was actually just talking to a New York Life agent yesterday, an ex-New York Life agent, and basically like they were really pushing him to sell to his family. He sold a policy to his sister, different things like that, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Those are some of the things that you're going to be expected to do is sell to your warm market and things like that. So make sure that you're going to be comfortable with that prior to actually jumping in with New York Life. But yeah, as far as the target market goes, that's kind of who you're going to be going after, a little bit higher income people, which in some respects is good, in some respects is negative. My agency, we go after like your more like working class people, so maybe a retired teacher or factory worker, someone like that, kind of just like good old folks from the U.S. So a little bit more like down to earth, so to speak, and a little easier to talk to and get in front of sometimes than maybe some of your white collar people. But that's ultimately, it just comes down to personal preference, right? The next thing to ask about is training, right? So what type of training are you going to be getting when you join New York Life? Are you going to be, coached and mentored by somebody that's going to show you the ropes of the business and show you how to sell and how to overcome objections and how to call and do different things? Or is it just going to be like, hey, you got your writing number and your license, like just go out there and make it happen, right? And so these are the things that are going to play a very massive role in your ability to succeed or your odds of failing, is the type of training that you're going to get. The type of training that you're going to get. So you want to figure out like, hey, am I going to have video training where I'm just told to go watch a bunch of videos? Or am I also going to have somebody I can talk to and someone that can coach me if I'm in the middle of an application? These are the important questions to ask. And these are going to be questions for your recruiter or your trainer or your upline. And then the next thing is the lead program, right? So what type of leads are you going to be working? I know New York Life does have a lead program as well as like the warm market stuff. So are you going to be working like aged leads? Are they going to be new leads? Are you going to have to pay for the leads? And if so, what is the cost per lead, right? These are important questions to ask. And then the other thing is, warm market is always free, but are you comfortable being pushed to sell to your friends and family? If not, you may want to look in a different direction, right? And then this is kind of coming back full circle to the training, talking about who is your upline, right? So whenever you join an agency, right, what you'll often find is the person that is training you has more of an impact than the actual agency you're at. So let's say I'm at New York Life versus like, Lincoln Heritage, right? The actual company I'm at is going to play a factor, but what's going to play more of a factor is my direct upline or the person that's training me directly on how to sell, right? If I have a good upline, I'm going to get a lot more training and I'm going to have a higher chance of success. If I have a bad upline who doesn't really know what they're doing, maybe they're just in this game for recruiting and they're not really trying to train or coach people, well, my chances of failure are much higher, right? So we really want to figure out like, who is this person that's going to be leading us? Who is this person that's going to be responsible for our success? And do we trust them enough to align our success with them? And if not, maybe you can still be at New York Life, but you need to find a new upline or a new recruiter. Asking about their sales experience, right? So if they haven't really sold any insurance and they're supposed to be teaching you how to sell insurance, it's going to be pretty tough, right? And then the next thing I want to talk about is recruiting, right? So what is the commission? This is kind of coming back to the commissions, but like how is the commission structured? And are you going to be pushed towards recruiting? Are you going to be pushed towards production? Or is it going to be a blend of both? And ultimately deciding for yourself, do you want to recruit and build a team or do you want to focus on selling? And then figuring out based off of the commission structure of New York Life, if your goals are going to align with the way that their commissions are structured. The nice thing about New York Life is if you ever decide to leave, you can easily get a release because you only get contracted with one company, which is New York Life. So if you ever leave, you can just go and get all these other carriers easily out of the gate. So that's a big plus, is it's kind of low risk on that because you can't be locked out of the business, where other companies, if you go and work with a brokerage and then you decide you want to leave, they can actually force you out of the business and make it so you can't write any of the carriers that you had with them. So that is not something you have to worry about with New York Life. Now, some of the biggest issues that I hear is the product can be, kind of expensive, right? Compared to other options. Sometimes it's the best option for people, sometimes not, but it really just depends. It depends on the person. So sometimes you're not going to be able to offer the best option for someone. You're going to be selling them something that's too expensive, and they're going to be able to find it somewhere else, which leads me to chargebacks and replacements. So if you sell somebody on something and then they can go find a better rate somewhere else, they might do that, and then you'll get a replacement or a chargeback. And then the other issue I hear from people is just the lower commissions. Starting out, sometimes the commissions with New York Life are a little bit lower, and it can be harder to make it work. And then the other thing is, the friends and family thing. So being pushed to sell to friends and family. But other than that, those are pretty much all of the things that you need to know and things that I wanted to cover prior to you joining New York Life, and just the questions you should ask, right? So maybe after watching this, you're saying New York Life is the best fit for me. This is, validated what I thought. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. And if so, fantastic. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. If you have any questions for me, drop them in the comments down below. And hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.